International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day is tomorrow. It is a day for people to come together, share their stories, find comfort in knowing that they are not alone. Maggie Sweeney joining me now, a suicide prevention consultant with Hope Network, one of Michigan's leading mental health organizations. She's here to talk a little bit more about what this day means for survivors. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. It's such an important day to not only remember the people we've lost, but to also connect with each other in that pain.
Yeah, and talk a little bit more about this day. I mean, you're saying it's about bringing people together. Talk about how important that is for people going through this.
Oh, absolutely. So we know that it's 50,000 people a year die by suicide, right? That's 50,000 losses that the community has. And for every single one of those losses, we know that there's something like 152 people who are impacted by that. And we know that when you have gone through a loss like that, there's a lot of complicated feelings, right? There's sadness, but there's also anger, there's confusion, there's what could I have done? And you are not alone in that. It's so important that in that loss, you be willing to reach out and connect with others.
Yeah, and especially in that time, you know, people around those people experiencing grief will maybe want to know what they can do, right? How can others support their loved ones or friends that are going through this?
Absolutely. And I think in the past, there's been this myth that suicide prevention is really complicated, and it's not. It comes down to connection. It comes down to being, I call it embracing the awkward, being willing to ask someone if they're having thoughts of suicide, if they're thinking about killing themselves, and being willing to actually see them in that pain and listen. You don't have to fix somebody's problems for them. I'm a therapist. I can't fix anybody's problems, but I can bear witness, I can sit with that person, and it's literally life-saving.
Yeah, and just talk a little bit about the importance of a day like this and having resources like the Hope Network and just people around you to get through that tough time.
Yeah, it's often like when you lose someone to suicide, or even if you yourself are struggling with thoughts of suicide, it can be a really isolating experience. There's a lot of shame there, right? I'm worried that if I speak out, that people are going to judge me, or that people are going to think I'm crazy, and that is not true, right? That community piece, that connection piece is so important. And it also breaks down a lot of that stigma. At Hope Network, not only do we provide services like counseling and community living, but we also provide a lot of trainings to the community. One training in particular I want to highlight is called QPR, Question, Persuade, and Refer. And it is essentially like your CPR, right? If somebody has a heart attack, we want bystanders to intervene. If someone's having thoughts of suicide or are struggling with the loss of someone to suicide, we want the community to intervene. And that starts with being willing to ask someone how they're doing, if they're struggling, and then being willing to listen. But that can be really intimidating, right? If you've never asked someone that, it can feel really intimidating. So QPR, Question, Persuade, and Refer, is a training that Hope Network offers to anyone, and we suggest everyone takes it. I have done this training at banks, hospitals, dispensaries, right? Anyone and everyone, to teach people how to start having that conversation, how to provide that support, and to make people feel less alone.
Yeah, lots of resources you guys are offering. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you guys are offering these 365 days a year, not just tomorrow. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And one other thing I just want to highlight, that if you are struggling and you can't get into services tonight, 988 is a fantastic resource. They're available 24/7 and they're always there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maggie, for joining us.
Thank you.